everyone, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Mandy. I am the Bookish Artist and I am here today to play with ink. I have all this random sample business and so I decided that I was going to pick 5 colors, and I tried to do at least like one yellow, one blue toned, one red toned, and a couple of others. So I have, first up I have Robert Oster's bronze for my yellow, and I just throw that in. I'm just what I'm gonna do is I'm first gonna put them in the palette, in my ceramic palette here. I'm using my pipette, and I have 2 jars of water. Somebody mentioned on one of my videos that they love the 2 jars of water technique, so I'm gonna keep reminding. So I will put the pipette in one, like the dirty, and then I will make, like, once it's super clean, I'll put in the clean water just to make sure that it's clean and there's no contamination. I really like doing that for my regular ones, and so, or regular inks, so I have been doing it with my samples. The next one I have, and this is a green. I wanted to do green because I'm just in the mood to paint. I have been like super in the mood to paint. I haven't used these samples. I'm like, okay, I have so many samples and I keep buying them, so why not paint with them? Or if I, and then if I don't like them, I can pass them on, because I'm starting to pass on my ink, which is really nice. Like, that was one of the reasons I really wanted to get into the community, is so that I could send off my stuff and share with people, because I just like to. I like to share and I like to be helpful in any way that I can. But this one is, if I don't remember if I said or not, this one is Pelikan Edelstein Olivine, and we will swatch these, don't worry. My blue tone is Wearing Ghoul's Robinson Crusoe. I don't know why I haven't used this ink. I think the sample is pretty much full, so that means I have this color, and I know I like it. I've swatched it a few times, but I've never actually inked it in a pen. Maybe this will make me change my mind and do it. So then the next one I have is like my pinky red color, and this is Kyo Iro 5 Kiyagi Sakura, so basically cherry blossom. I think I'm gonna, oh, let's get that cleaned out so I don't contaminate. Kind of getting a little messy here, just because I want to do this as fast as possible. I can't remember when I bought this cherry blossom Kyo Iro. I don't even know if I've ever used Kyo Iro inks, but trying it out, why not? And I have KWZ brown pink here. So this is like more of a brown tone. I wanted to have some different options. I don't know, because I might mix them and see what, you know, is going on. And I'm excited, like, this is the first time that I will have ever swatched these with a paintbrush, because I don't know why I never thought of this. See, there's just like, I am just kind of going all over the place lately. Like, why did I never think of this? So I really don't want to dip my paintbrush into my inks. I've had some mold issues with inks in the past, or like my friend had mold, so then I just am so wary of putting anything in my inks, so I haven't dipped. But I love the way that paintbrush swatches look, especially like Karina at Karina Loves to Plan. She has the like beautiful flower swatches, and I love the rose. And so I think what I'm gonna do, I want to swatch them, but I want to swatch them in a circle, and then I will go and add some lines for a rose, and I'll show you kind of what I like to do to make a rose. So let's see here. Zooming in, I did take it and move it to another little palette spot, and this is Robert Oster's bronze, and I added a little water, so it's not going to be the full color, but I like to do oh, it just feels so nice to have a paintbrush. Like, I get just so anxious when I'm not painting. So I will take a color, and I don't do like an actual circle. I try to give it some edges, and then maybe like a hump here and a hump here, and then I will go in later and add some extra lines. But this is Robert Oster's bronze, and then I'm going to go in here, and in the really wet spot I want to get some dark, so I'm dipping into the actual ink. So, and then yeah, I'm hoping, there we go, hoping we can see a little bit. And then this is where I struggle when I am painting. I tend to take my paintbrush and dip my dirty paintbrush into my clean water, and so I'm trying to get into the habit of that because I've been working in gouache a little bit more. Hopefully I'll be able to show on the channel soon. And so then I don't want to dip it in the dirty water because that water gets so dirty with gouache so fast. Okay, so then I do want to do kind of like a little triangle here. Maybe I'll just do, I don't know, I'm trying to decide right now, and we'll just see how I'm doing on time. Maybe it will just be this page, and then I can do a painting later with the colors. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Because this is kind of a painting in and of itself, me playing with the swatches. All right, there we go. So I have had Robert Oster's bronze for a while in my collection, and haven't ever, I don't even know if I swatched it when I got it. So that's how great it is. So now this one is my olivine, and if you can see, I'm gonna move my camera for a minute. I put it in a different section of the palette, and then I will mix it with water. Just add a little bit more water to it to really get it like a watercolor consistency. When you're using watercolors, even for anyone who hasn't used watercolors before, when you're using watercolors, usually you'll want to dip from the pan and then put it on a mixing spot so you can really get the colors to be less super saturated. Because the trick with watercolor, as I've learned, is that you want it to start super light and work your way up in layers. So that's what I'm kind of doing with these. And so there's another circle, and they don't have to be perfect. And this one, I think I'm not going to add the little humps because I'll show you the different ways that I do this. And then, yeah, it's not like an actual flower. And then I'll go into the regular ink and really, really get that dark spot where you're going to get that really nice, see all the different properties. The one thing I really love about painting with it is when you dilute these inks with water, you can really see the range of colors that the ink has in them, because sometimes you don't see that when you're writing with it, but when you take and make it super light, you can see that it separates. Like this is the bronze is already separating, where you can see that there's some pink tones. I love doing, that's why I love painting with it, is it's so multifaceted and it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to take some, I'm doing Wearing Ghouls, Robin Caruso is the next one. And I'm going to give it a little space up here so that I can go in with my fountain pen. I have my fountain pen here. I'm going to go in with my fountain pen and write the names later, but I'm just trying to get the base of these down so that I can draw on top of it with another fountain pen. And I already have it inked up with a color and whatnot. So this is Robinson Crusoe. I am adding some more water because I really want to get this super light and super transparent. Ooh, look at that. I love that. I don't know why I haven't used this blue. And it kind of like, I know when I remember when I have seen it, it shades like a really pretty green and teal in some places. So if you don't know what I'm doing, these are going to be the leaves. So they are usually, I either do a circle and then have a tip, or I just do a circle sometimes. Like this one has a round circle. And that Pelican Edelstein Olivine is drying some really cool, interesting colors. It's so much fun. I love ink properties. That's what I love so much about ink. Oh, okay. Now I want to take some of that Robinson Crusoe undiluted and really get it in there. Maybe I'll color this whole leaf and really make that leaf the darkness. I know this isn't a very dark color, so we may not get as much depth as these two up here, but I think it's kind of a fun palette. I literally was like, you're a yellow, you're a blue. I didn't think about how they would look together. So this is completely like, I have no idea. I didn't remember what these looked like. So it was just a quick, I want to do this. I want to paint. And why not paint with my ink? Because I've been trying to like, that's one of my goals right now in my artwork is to paint with my ink. All right, this is that Kiyagi Sakura. Again, I'm diluting it, but you can't see it because I just don't have, there it is, diluted. And diluted, it's very pink. So we'll put it here. And very, very, very soft. I don't know what it looks like. I don't even know. I honestly don't even know if I've swatched this one too. I don't think I've swatched the bronze, so I'll probably swatch this once. I'm pretty sure I swatched it, but who knows? Oh, there's some mix from my brush or from the paper or something. So we're getting a little mix there. So that is not going to be the color, but that's okay. We'll have it over here so we know. And I'm gonna do a couple humps here. So basically like the ones that are just circles are basically like the smaller bud. And then this is gonna be where it's bloomed out a little bit. And the idea with flowers is that they are just, or art in general, is it's all basic shapes. And if you get your basic shapes down, like I hate it sometimes. I hate how simple and basic art is, but if you get your basic shapes down and you do a lot of practice, like practice drawing hundreds and hundreds of circles and squares and triangles, you get really good at seeing and breaking down like the shapes in objects too. So I do a lot of that. And this is the brown, this is the WZ pink brown, but it looks very purple, which is interesting. I'm gonna grab this. I want to dilute this a lot. So I'm gonna do, I've got my water here. And really get that watered down. What's really nice too with these ceramic palettes, just FYI, if you've never done this, hopefully you've painted before, but I don't know, because a lot of my viewers are fountain pen people. It doesn't mean that you're a painter. But what's nice about these ceramic palettes is you can put the ink in and then the ink will dry, but you can, what you call, reactivate it by adding more water, which is really nice. So like, I'm not, like if I don't use this all, I'm not gonna waste it. I can use it again in another painting or at a different time. And I love that. That's like the same thing with watercolor, but I've done it with ink before too. So I do know that I can save this palette and then later on I can use it. Okay, so that KWZ brown black or brown pink is not even like, there doesn't even look like there's any brown or pink. It looks very, very purple. I don't know, maybe if it's darker and it's not, you know, diluted, but that's like super purple. Even there, it looks almost like a deep magenta, not a brown pink. At least not what I would consider brown pink, but it is a lovely color. I hadn't swatched this. I haven't had this long. And KWZ, I don't know what it is. Is there some chemical or something they use? Their scents can get to me. Like the smells like coffee, I had inked up in a pen and I had to get rid of it. I had to just dump it because I couldn't use it. So there's that one. Okay, so then, are any of these dry up here yet? Not yet. Oh, but I'm really liking the way this bronze looks. It's really pretty. And I love this. So what I can do though, at least. So this is my Myers Pen Co. Antoinette. I am loving it. I did in my first like unboxing video of it, I did have a different nib. I had a Heinz Company nib on it, but it wasn't extra fine. And I just really, I'm in a medium mood. I am in a medium mood. I do switch on and off on like what I'm in a mood for. And right now I'm in a medium. So I had a gold spot nib that I put into a nib house, a Yovo nib housing, but it is a Yovo nib too. But I put a medium gold spot, and this has diamine. what is it? Is it classic green? It might be classic green, but it has a diamine green ink in it. I'm pretty sure it's classic green, but it looks quite black. It's right here too. So, all right, so we will just put on here what they are. Robert Foster bronze is this one. Pelican. Edelstein. I am probably butchering how you pronounce that name, but it's olivine. Interesting, I was looking at Monteverde's swatches of olivine. Very different color. Very different color, which is interesting. But this is a beautiful color. I love the different... I've had this forever. I think I got it as like a free sample for like buying so much and you got a free sample or like a sample pack. And I've had it sitting in my collection probably since I first got samples, like for the very first time. And I've never looked at it. Now I'm like, why didn't I look at this before? I should ink this up in a pen. And I don't know if olivine is one of their like standard inks or if it's like a special edition ink. So I'll be really bummed if it's a special edition because I might like that one. And this one is Waring Ghoul's Robinson Crusoe. Oh man, I love this already. Like right here, I don't know if it's picking up on the camera. It looks like it's picking up on my camera, but right here, it's almost like it's got like a yellow, but it's very beautiful light blue. And I'm a sucker for light blues. And this one is, how do I say this? Kyo. Write it. Kyo Euro. And this says Kyo Euro 05. So I wonder if they do the same thing as Kobe inks do. The Nagasawa Kobe. And this is Kiage. Ki-age. It looks like Ki-age or Kiage. Oh man, I wish I could pronounce Japanese or any other language besides English. I can barely pronounce English half the time. Wish I could pronounce other things so much easier, but it's tough for me. I really struggle. And then this one is KWZ Brown Pink. This looks not like a brown pink. To me, this looks like a darker version of like Pilot Iro Shizuku's Yamabudo. But yeah, so I will, oh, is this dry? This is dry enough. So now I can, at least this one is dry. So I can kind of show you what I'm going to do here. And then if the other one's dry while I'm filming, then I will do those, or I will come back when they are all dry. So what I like to do then is I like to get my line on the outside. And there is my circle. So I do skip those, and I get my circle outlined. And then I come and I do those two so that those humps show up. Now this is where it doesn't have to be precise. I like to go a line in here, and I like to make uneven triangles. And so you can get that beautiful square, and then you do opposite sides. So to opposite walls, so you have a triangle going in a different direction. So you see there's a triangle and there's another triangle, and then you just keep doing that until you are happy with where your triangles are. And you can even go in here and add a little bit more something. And then it's just a stylized flower. It's how I like to do them. And then I usually just outline, and you don't have to even, I always think it's kind of cool to outline it where it has some of the white and you have that over it. And lines, it's just lines. So get really good at lines and get really good at shapes. And you can draw anything like that. That's it. That's all I do. And so then I can come over here and add some vines to the outside and really make it a special little flower. And these are easy. They're just this a dot or a drop with a like a line, and then you have a curve, and you just connect them. And these you see like in a lot of different places. And sometimes I add like circles and whatnot, just kind of giving it a little bit of decoration. It looks like Robinson Crusoe is almost dry, but the rest of them aren't. So maybe I will pause here and I will come back when the rest of them are dry and just wait. Okay, so my colors are mostly dry except for down here. They pooled a lot. And I really want to get this in a pen, but then I found out that Pelikan Edelstein Olivine was a one-off ink. So if anyone knows a dupe for it, I would be so appreciative. Maybe I will have to do some swatching of the greens I have. I just don't have a lot of greens, and when I find a green that I like, I want to ink it up. Okay, so I'm just kind of here, since I went really slow on this one, I'm just kind of gonna go through this again and just show you that it's, I mean, I do this fast, but again, and I hope you can't hear the like video game that my kids are playing. They're down playing this weird game called Brotato. I don't know. My nephew found it for them and they're kind of obsessed with it. And so I let them play it, but I hope you can't hear that because it is obnoxiously sounding. But yeah, but anyway, I've done this a lot. So I will sit and draw flowers like this over and over and over, and they don't all turn out like perfect, but that's the beauty of it, is that like they don't have to be perfect, and they don't have to always look exactly like, you know, they're the best thing ever. But when you put it together, it just works really, really well. And so, yeah. And then over here, got this one, my Robinson Crusoe. And I think I was going to do, oops, before I finish, I think I could just throw, and you can even throw it like that, where it's not even in the ink. So just kind of wanted to do that. But this one, I know I wanted to just be a circle, and it has a lot more leaves. I might even just throw a leaf like that. Really get these fast lines in here. I love when I've got fast, messy lines. Like, they look far more sketchy. That's very much so from being inspired by Greta Lusky. Oh, she's got such beautiful art. I just love her stuff so much. Oh, her messy sketchbook spreads. Just, they are chef's kiss. Like, honestly, she has made it so much like more inspiring to be loose. So if you haven't checked her stuff out, I highly recommend it. Now with this one, I might go in and add a little bit of, I like to add a little bit of texture by adding a few lines here and there. I really love doing this. This is like my thing to do. I just love doing it. I love adding those, like, because if you see the difference between here and here. So that one I will, because it's right in the middle. I'm just kind of showing you different ways that I do this. And even here, I could just go like this and do the like strings of lines, and then just have like circles. It does not have to be complex whatsoever, and it can just be. It can be whatever it will be. It just is, especially like, this is a really fun way to swatch. I'm trying to come up with new ways to swatch inks because I get bored. I like to try different things. Like, so if you've watched my swatching videos, you'll see that I just swatch inks in all sorts of different ways, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and then this one I have a box, so I'm just gonna kind of go in here, but still get that triangle inside. So yeah, I do like this KWZ brown pink, and there is like a lot of brown. It feels like there's brown tone, so it's not, I think when you have brown in front of pink, I think it should be more brown, but it is definitely more pink. So it's like a softer brownish pink. That makes sense that it's purpley because it's gonna make that color. That makes sense, but it's just like, oh, I think I was expecting something a little bit more. And I don't know if I looked at the swatch, but I was expecting a lot more brown, and it's definitely more purple. So that will make a lovely flower in my illustration. So I'm excited. I did decide just now that I'm gonna do a small one. So I'm gonna show you, and it's gonna be fast and dirty. So you can do it too, fast and dirty if you want to. So, you know, maybe I should have said this in the beginning. Maybe you could, you know, follow along, or watch the video once and then go and try, like, bring it back and do this yourself. I'd love to see other people getting fun with their swatches in their books, because how cute is that? That's a lot of fun. And so get a few of these flowers in here, and it's just playing with your inks, and you're exploring, and you're using things in a different way, especially for those of us who can't stop, won't stop buying inks. Like I can't stop, I won't stop. I love them. I love color. So it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of fun to play with them too in different ways. Okay, so I'm gonna put my pen up for now, and then I'm gonna come over here. So in this little painting on this side, I'm only going to work with these inks and this pen. So I'm making it easy. So I just kind of want to do like a little bit of like a flower field. And I'm going to do it where I block out just the top half. So I kind of have, I'm going to just quickly with my pencil. This Cinema Roll pencil, isn't it cute? I love these pencils. They're the ones that like will turn your pencil as you're using it, so then it stays flat. But I'm just gonna block out like half of this because I don't want to do the whole page, because maybe then I can do some fun flowers or something down here if I want to later, or just leave it, which is fine with me. Okay, so supplies are not precious. I have to keep telling myself that supplies are not precious. There will always be a new supply. There will always be a new ink color. There will always be a new something. But I'm like, oh, of course, the one I like is out. So I'm just coming in here at first, and I am laying down some color. So I'm going to lay down some of that. That's the Robert Oster Bronze. And then I think the Sakura Blossom is very pinky and very pretty. And I can lay some of those down and really get some. And this is, so the first stage of a painting, you really want to be light, and you want to make sure that you're using a very, very, very thin wash, because you are trying to make sure that you can paint over it, and that the lines might show through, but they're not going to be super, super obvious. So, and yeah. And for this initial part, I am not using the brown pink, but then for the rest of this, I'm going to go in with for the background, I'm going to go in with that olivine. And like, I want to let those colors meld together. So I'm trying to get them while they're still wet, because you can see how this, I don't know if you can see, is the camera? Yeah, the camera's picking up. It's bleeding in there. So you're getting a lot of like, because I'm like imagining this being like a field in my backyard full of flowers. My husband is currently out in our yard right now planting a bunch of wildflowers because our grass isn't growing anymore. And like, just thinking about the environmental impact about grass, and we have dogs and kids, we want to have something, but I'm just like, grass is just so much, like, it's, for one, it's a pain to maintain, and for two, it's so expensive, and three, it's not very environmental friendly. So we've been looking at like laying down clover and wildflowers and kind of doing a grass alternative that's a little less maintenance and friendly for the environment, but also planting like local wildflowers, because that would be something I've read about that's really good. So a lot of this up here I had in the same well. I had part of the well, the the Edelstein's Olivine and the Robinson Crusoe, so it's kind of like a bluish green. And here's just the regular Edelstein again. I'm just kind of getting some different tones, even though I'm just laying down a base layer. And then, yeah, that's the base layer. And then I'm going to come back in. And a lot of times what I would do is come back in with colored pencils, but I just want to use my pens today. Like, I'm just really feeling using my pens and my ink. And so I'm just going to come in, and now I've made the ink a little darker. I've added more ink, and I'm just going to, you know, make them more detailed. And they don't have to be all that pretty. They don't have to be, you know, whatever, because we'll come in with our pen at the end. You just have to kind of have different colors in different places, because it's very impressionistic or just kind of loose. I love to do loose paintings in my sketchbooks. And yeah, I'm you know, mostly a sketchbook artist. I don't really, my friend like thinks about light fastness and all of this stuff because she is a professional artist. She sells her work. I mean, I could sell my work, I guess, you know, it's just not something that I am really in the mood to do. It's too much work. Like, I'm still 100% burnt out from running my own business. And maybe in like 5 or 6 years, it'd be really fun to be a professional artist. But I also like having my art like be this. And then, yeah, I've said it a couple times on the channel, but I just think about this because I don't know if you would want to actually sell this as a painting, like, because you couldn't really display it on your wall unless it was a print. And so, yeah. Although I have been looking at scanning these things in if it's something that people want. I'm offering a couple. I have another painting I did with ink as like a download for like $1. So this might be one that ends up. So now I'm going in and I'm gonna add some details with this. I realize this Robert Oster bronze down here is really mixing well with the Edelstein's what's that? What is it called again? Olivine. So, because it's got like it's a greeny, or it's a yellowish brown. So it's very pretty. I really like this. I like both of these, the bronze and this Edelstein's. So, and I'm just going in here in random places and adding just different vines and different lines. You can do this. You can go in here and add some different kinds of leaves. I'm just really big into like leaves like this. It's what I see a lot. It's just leaves like this, but there's also different forms. But the idea is that each like time you go over it, and this is gonna definitely bleed, so I need to put, I forgot to put my paper. It hasn't bled yet, but it's definitely gonna bleed because I'm adding a lot of paper, color. I have found, and this is either, I don't know, because I bought this on Amazon. This is a Hobonichi's notebook. This is a Hobonichi notebook, and it's either the new Sans and paper or it's the old Sans and paper. I'm not sure, but it's the 52 grams, and let me tell you, it handles water. Like, it handles like water, and like obviously ink it does, but it handles like this much water like a champ. Like, I've been painting on this a little bit more lately, and I almost like prefer the effects, especially with ink. I should try watercolor on it, but I prefer the effects. I know it buckles and everything, but I love the way that you can get some really interesting colors. And I'm gonna just throw some circles of green in here so it can look like maybe a bushel of something here. This is so much fun and just relaxing. And like the thing is when you look at this, it's just blobs. Like, it is just blobs. It doesn't have to be anything special. Like, it is just relaxing. Like, this is so relaxing for me. I am just so happy. I'm gonna add some strings here for some grass. Like, you don't have to make it be anything. Like, I am literally like, I'm not even looking at the composition. I'm just like, I want some green over here, and I want some of this. I really like this Edelstein's green though. Of course it has to be the one. the one I pull, then I'm like, I love it. Of course. But I wonder, like, if I love it as a paint or if I would love it in a pen, because I really like this, like, shift in the greens and blues, but I think it gets a really dark in a pen, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. And maybe I can find somebody who has a bottle that they don't want. You never know. You never know. That's what I'm learning. And yeah, throwing it out into the universe. I love this color. Okay, yeah. I think it should be a crime for companies to make these limited edition inks. Like, I'm still like so mad that one of my favorite inks from last year was a limited edition, and so I had to have it. Like, so I got 3 bottles of it, the Blue-Eyed Mary from Rover and Klingner. Like, I was realizing I was spending so much more money trying to find a dupe, so I ended up, Apple Boom had it for, like, I had to pay shipping, but it was cheaper that way than continuing to buy dupes. So I bought 2 bottles of it. So now I have 3 full bottles that hopefully will last me forever, but you never know. Maybe I'll get sick of it by then. But now, as you can see, like, the depth and how this is working, you get darker and darker as you go. And I am really, really going heavy and hard on that Edelstein color because I love it so much. I kind of want to throw some of this Robinson Crusoe in here, and really get some blues. And I also love to do this, like where I add grass like this in lines. Just, you lift your brush, you know, you start harder and lift it, and harder and like lift it, and like you get some really nice strokes. And then if it's still wet down here, because I can take, what's really fun is I'll take this KWZ brown pink and throw it here, and then it will kind of seep into this. And this is another watercolor technique that you do with when you pool watercolor, but you can do it with ink too. I love that this plays just like watercolor, and it's so much fun. And then I'm going to come in here and add some just random, it's just like random shapes that you can like, and as you add different like values of color, it really starts to like look and shape more. So like if I come over here and add some depth to this flower here in this color, and you add more like circle details, you're going to start getting more. And if you leave that open, then you've got the like middle. I do not know the actual name of the middle of a flower. I used to know all the anatomy of a flower. Yeah, like oh, that reminds me. So okay, I have to talk about this. This is something is so funny, and I don't know if I have any people who speak Korean in my watch, but if you do, you're gonna laugh at this story. So this is an old story, and it's making me giggle as I'm doing this. So because I am really just going in with different colors and kind of, you know, making it great. But speaking of flowers, and it just hit me, and I have to share it because it's so funny. So my friend had an exchange student, an international student, when we were, gosh, were we juniors or seniors? I think we were juniors, and her name was Mina, or Min, and she was from Korea, and she was taking biology, and they got to the plant anatomy part, and she came home and she was just, my friend, like, she was like, Abby, and she's like, Mandy, Abby, she goes, it's so bad. She goes, my teacher said a really bad word. And we were like, okay, well, what did she say? She goes, Mandy, look, it's in my book. And she pulls out the book, and in the book is the word sepal, which is a part of, I can't remember what part of the plant it is, but it's just sepal. I was like, yeah, that's a word. And she goes, no, that's a bad word in Korea. So if you know Korean, then you know that there's a similar sounding word to sepal. And yeah, that was one of those things that I'm like, oh, okay. Yes. So anyway, that was just, I don't know why that came back to me just right now, but it did. So I hope you enjoyed the little random story from my childhood memories. And yeah, so I just mixed a little bit of, I'm over here playing and mixing. I mixed a little bit of the Cherry Blossom with the Robert Oster Bronze, and I kind of like how that's turning out. But I think, like, I think I'm gonna let this, I want to let this dry a little and then maybe come back in. Like a lot of this, like maybe I could actually, before I let it dry, because I think it's very green and like browny and like the big pops of red. And looking at it, it could use a little bit more vibrancy over here. So I'm gonna add some of that Robinson Crusoe. I could use, and I think looking at my palette, because this was just randomly grabbing, I could use like a nicer, deeper blue, but this one is not very deep. So this is good to know, learning about it. It's just, it doesn't get, it's so pretty, but it is definitely green leaning, and it doesn't get very deep, and like, it doesn't take over, which is nice, because when I think of blues, I think a lot of the times the reason I don't use blue ink is because it stains so much of everything. And so at least some of the inks that I've had. So I was like, oh, okay. I could use a little blue, but maybe, you know, it's good to know. I could pull after this, if I really wanted to, I could pull some of my Neo colors, but I want to stick with ink. I'm just like, oh no. And I think I have a couple pens that are inked with a different color, but that's going against my challenge. No, this is what you're doing. So I'm just kind of going in here, adding some like blue dots to try to get some more blue in there. Yes, there we go. Okay, yes. And then I think if I add a little bit of green down here of that Edelstein's olivine down here and kind of throw some in here. Oh, yes. Yeah, and this is like, I really like, there's parts of this where I'm like, oh my gosh, the magic would be in the colored pencil. But I think if I do some magic with the pen too, I think I could do some magic with the pen. And I think it'd be nice if I take this, and I love going out of the border with like one or two colors and like having a little bit of, like it looks like it's coming out of the picture. So I'm gonna take some of this green and pop it over here out of the picture. So you have a few little like pieces that are just kind of hanging out all by themselves. That is something I learned from the artist Iraville. If you're familiar with her work, she has these beautiful, she works in watercolor, and she actually, in her book, her first book, talks about how she makes her watercolor, which go her, because like that is a lot of work, but it's really cool. So she does a lot of this, and I love her work. So it's something I learned from her, is like using the whites to really make it. And look at how much it makes it like, just like all of a sudden just so much more dynamic, because it's like, it feels like it's popping out of the picture. And maybe if I do it here too and give it a little bit more, have some grass over here. I think I like that. And then over here, oh man, see, in this Edelstein olivine, I'm gonna put it in a pen, and then I'm gonna be sad because I love it. Of course, I've been on the search and the hunt for like my favorite green, and of course I have to find one that I love that is discontinued or was a special edition. And I'm gonna do a little bit of pink here and have it, and then what I'll do is I'll get that pink in a couple places, or like put it right here so it looks like flowers. And when I go back in with the pen, I'm gonna leave this like little section here alone. But yeah, I can come in here and just add a little bit, like it looks kind of like, maybe like it's like a lilac or some kind of flower right there, and really give it some fun. I think that's fun. And yeah, I will make this, my plan is at the end of the month after I've gotten all of my, like after I've done all these different like watercolor or like ink paintings, I am going to make a package, and I'll put these as like stickers and these as like stickers. I'll make a package on KOFI with just the digital stickers, so you can like a print and whatnot. So you can print the size you want. You can really print it on whatever paper you want and just have it for yourself, because I love doing this. I just love doing it. It's just like a relaxing thing. So if you want it, you can have it, but I just I'm not going to get into the printing process myself. It's easy enough for me to scan stuff, but I don't want to do that. So there we go. Oh, wow. I love that. I love how that turned out. That turned out so cool. I do want to add just a little bit more of this olivine right here and really get it dark and really, yeah, really saturated. I really loaded. This is just loading the actual ink on there and really making it thick. So there's that. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. And then I can throw some up down here. Yes, yes. There we go. I think this would be really cute as like a printable sticker, and I may do it in my own journal if I print it. I think it'd be really cute as a printable sticker, and then if you added a character. Now I want to take, and like now that green is, or that pink is dry, and there that is, and maybe one more, like so it's going into the. There we go. Better, much better. Haha. Okay, I'm gonna stop playing with it before I really ruin it, or before I go overboard, because I have a tendency to do that just because I like to. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then we will come back and I will add. I'm not gonna go too crazy because I actually really like it like this, but I just do think that a little bit of detail with a pen or with your extra media, like I love multimedia, so I will usually use colored pencil or something, but I really am enjoying my Antoinette with this green, and I really love how it looks on top. So I will come in, and I don't do too much because I don't want it to get overwhelming, but I have to laugh because my paintbrush, I was painting a different picture with this paintbrush, and I didn't get it quite washed enough because there is flakes of like sparkle in some of this ink from the opal paint that I was using. So that makes me giggle. Anyway, I'm going to clean up this while this dries. And just so you know, and like this is what I have left. This will all dry onto this palette. And then I can reuse this. And I will definitely reuse this. I think I want to try it on my watercolor paper book. But that's something I probably won't film unless I do it later, because I can show you how it reactivates. But it might not be today, like it won't be in this video. Yeah, but I will let that dry and I'll be back. So this is what I like to say is this is the part where the magic happens. At least that's what I just like think. Because right now it's pretty. Like you could just leave this. Like if this is all you wanted to do, absolutely. I just like to give it a little bit more texture. This is where I usually go in, and I'm not this time just because I really just wanted to make this quick and dirty and just get in with some pens, but I like to add details. So I'll go in and I will just kind of feel it out. So I will add some lines in here, some different kinds of lines, and I can do this forever. Maybe define a petal. Right here, that this could be a petal, and I think this could be a petal. Because I've laid down just a bunch of like gobbledygook in places, except for here, you know, I did do that one very defined. Lay down a bunch of gobbledygook. I can really just go in and just kind of really make it my own. or just leave it. You could just leave it at that spot. But I think that this, to me, is where the magic happens and the piece really comes together as like a finished work. And this, I do believe, is classic green in this pen. I just can't remember if it is, if not. It's a green. It's a dark green. So if it's not Diamine Classic Green, it's another dark green. So it works really well because it's not a black, but it's very dark. And I just go in and I add wherever you see, and it's like scribbles. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be anything. Like sometimes I'll go in and add like this like little flower where I color it in and add some dots and then color it in. Like that. So you have just, the sky's the limit. Like this is really just trying to make it kind of cohesive, like really add some more depth, but you don't have to do this. I just want to say, you don't have to do this. If you're trying to like play along and just have fun, if this is too much and over stressful for you because you haven't done this before, then don't do it. Or practice over on like little blobs, like do little blobs. But I just kind of add random squiggles and random shapes, and it makes it come together. And define some leaves and define some flowers and leave some too. And sometimes it's just like adding a little like that. And then I go in here. This is just not precise. And because I don't have colored pencils right now, I usually like do different colors and kind of like, sometimes I'd shade things in so I could kind of, you know, shade some of this grass in because this is a darker color. Even out here, I could just go like this and add some lines and then get some really nice lines and add some texture that way and really get it. Yeah, it's just kind of whatever. It's kind of like the whole like idea, measure with your heart. So it's like scribble with your heart. Scribble with, you know, whatever, be intuitive. And the more you do this, the better you'll get. Like this is like, there's not a science to it. I have taken a lot of courses, but at the same time, like a lot of this is just intuitive. Like I'm just like, oh yeah, this could use a couple little things, but I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna mess it up because you can mess it up a lot if you do too much of this. So I'm just trying to make sure that I get some lines in a whole bunch of different places. And really right now, if I wasn't talking, I'd probably be done. And right now I'm talking and this is at 4 minutes. So it's not anything fancy. It's not anything that like has to be anything. I'm going to throw a little bit of that like rose action that I showed you guys earlier. And then, yeah. There it is. Oh, and this pen, the ink has the classic green. It is classic green. I can tell you that. Like I can just tell now. The classic green has this lovely green, like red sheen. So it's like adding just even more. It makes me happy. So, and I don't know, just kind of find the shapes, kind of find whatever. Like, yeah. And then you could go in, if you want to, you could go in with some white. So I know I said I wasn't going to do anything but fountain pens, but like I can show you. I'll show you, but like you don't have to. For the final touch, adding highlight, I have this Uniball white gel pen. So these ones you can get like pretty much anywhere. I just think that these Uniball ones are the best white, at least for art. And then I also have a Caran d'Ache Neocolor. And this one is water soluble, and this one was, I think this is just light gray. So you could use either of these, but the highlights just add a little bit of something. And I'm gonna show a little bit of both. So if I wanted to add some like dots here, I love the texture that crayon adds. So you could have some dots in different places. And I just think that this like adds a little bit even more. You know, you can just do, I just think that just even adding just some dots or that, like that, in a couple places really makes it, just gives it some more depth and texture that you didn't have before. So, or even just, yeah, just like that. Or the white. So I will come in here and maybe, oh, maybe I haven't used my gel pen in a while, so I might have to get it started down here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, but you can just do some nice highlights, maybe some highlights in here, you know, where you have your flower, but be really careful with white because it is so bright. You want to really use it sparingly and just go in. I'll add some dots here too, because then it looks kind of like you've got your white flowers kind of hanging out. And this is another one of those like tricks that I've learned from different courses and things, but see how that like just transformed it with just that few things. And you can come in here maybe and throw some white lines, hatch marks too. If you just do some, let's see, see my gel pen is really being a punk right now. I don't use it very often. I used to use it a lot more than I do now. But if you add just some like hashes in places, it really adds, and I don't like that as much, so I'm just gonna rub that off because I don't like that. But like, it's all about experimenting, because now you can still see it, but it's not there. But a lot of times, like this could be a tree, and then you could add your like 3, and then 3 this way, and then 3 this way, and then 3 this way, and it gives it like even just a little bit. I actually really like that right there, and I might add it just a little bit more. This is me just kind of playing around with spaces and filling in those really empty spaces with a little bit more texture. Like I can do it up here and add a little bit more texture. Could do it in here, so it's kind of throughout, where it's just a couple places. And then maybe even down here I could add a little bit of it, so it's just kind of all over and it's being distributed in a different way, so it's got that texture. And that is it. And that is the whole thing right there. Painting with ink and having a little bit of fun. So that's a really, really fun way of swatching your ink, and then having a little fun in your ink book, because you're just playing. And I have these paint brushes, and the other ones were with that. These ones were $1.69. I got them at Gomez Art Supply the last time I was down in Lincoln, Nebraska. And they're actually really, really nice. And so, I don't know, they had them in like a sale bin, and I was like, yes. So if you find some of these like Lonely Finger art brushes, they're not bad. They're actually really, really nice and soft. And I don't think they'll last as long as my my Princeton ones, but that's okay. But I am just loving this, and I think that this is okay. I might actually later, not for this video, but I might actually later, at least in my journal, just journal, or like in this book, just journal about this experience and say, you know, this was the date I did it, and what I did, and how I got here, and you know, it's really fun. But I love that I went with a very limited palette. I wanted to make sure that I had a green, or I had a yellow, blue, and a red. Okay, and then I added green because I knew I wanted to do a nature scene, because I haven't painted nature for a while, and I was hoping this would be more brown, but it wasn't, because I love browns. So I went with it, because I think actually, like, looking at this, because this color is here and here in that really deep dark, this actually worked out really well for flowers. I wish I would have had something a little bit more vibrant, but I just grabbed. So if I did this again, I would just grab, but again, like making sure that you have some form of your primary 3. You could have come up with something with just 3 colors, but I like to add a couple extras just to play, especially because like right here, that blue and that purple and that pink mixed together, so cool. And they all mix, like the green, and I would not have had this really dark color. Maybe if I would have mixed more of this with this, and I should have maybe, and maybe if I use this palette again, because I do have more, I would try that. But those are only like my suggestions to myself, or what you could do, because you can always look at it and be like, all right, this is not a perfect piece. This is just play. I love how it turned out. I really do want to, I'm going to make this into a sticker for myself and for others. And put it in my journal as like a little like bottom border. I think it would be a lot of fun, and these would be a lot of fun as like little stickers in different places. I'm actually thinking about this stuff now, because I never did before, but creative journaling has been a lot of fun for me lately. So I'm starting to look at things differently. I'm like, oh yes, I want those in my journal. So yeah, so comparatively, like I want to compare this to, right before I go, comparatively to, where is it? Where I painted the first time. Oh, I think this one, I still like this one. And this one I did do colored pencil, so you can see the difference in texture. And like, I don't know, I like them both. I think you could use both. But yeah, this one was a really thought out, thoughtful, I wanted 12 colors. So I got more colors so I could have more variation. But man, does that look great. I love that. But this also is really fun. I don't know. Let me know. Do you like these videos? I know people keep asking me for more of them. So I was like, all right, this is something that I normally don't film. I just do this. So I'm trying to actually film my process and explain what I'm doing and trying to help out so that other people can watch and do this. Because like, I think that art is very accessible to everyone. I think that we kind of like put this label on some people and say, hey, you're an artist, and then the rest of you are not. That is not how creativity, that is not how art works. Art is for everyone, and you can do it. And I'm trying to make sure that as I'm doing this, it is accessible, and you think, oh yeah, maybe that is something I could do. Maybe not to this level, but you could still throw some ink on a page and then draw some lines. Like it is just as simple as that. And so, I mean, yeah, I do have knowledge in colors, and like knowing that I needed to pick a yellow, knowing that I needed to pick a blue, and knowing that I needed to pick a red. But that's it. Like that's really like, it's not, and then knowing that you start light and work dark, like with colors, and you dilute the colors with water. There you go. Like it's a simple process, and I really hope that this has inspired you to get out some inks that, like, if you have those samples that are just sitting there, like these were just sitting there. If you have samples that are just sitting there that you're not using, try it out. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to have a big mess on your page, but you got it out. And then like, it might become one of those habits, at least for me, if I don't get a paintbrush in my hand at least once or twice a week, I start getting just itchy and angry and irritable. So this is something that's very, very therapeutic for me, and this is my thing, and I need it for my mental health and sanity. So there's that. I hope you enjoyed this. Links below for some of the things that I have in the video. If you really want more of this, let me know. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you would want me to change for the next video. Yeah, or if there's like a topic that you want me to change, or like that you want me to like focus on, I would absolutely love to do that with inks, or even just suggestions for colors. Like if there's a specific like color you're like, I would love to see this color and see what you come up with other colors for it, I would be happy to do that. So thank you so much for being here. If you liked this and you're not subscribed, please subscribe or hit the like so that more people that want to see videos like this will see them in their feed. Have a wonderful day and go play with some ink.